In a world where our society grapples with adversity, youth unemployment and school dropouts are pervasive. Schools are overwhelmed. Violence scars our communities, and crumbling infrastructure perpetuates intergenerational poverty. Change isn't just a wish, it's an urgent necessity. But who will step up to lead this change? Who will be the driving force? Allow us to introduce Columba leadership, the catalyst for transformation. We believe that Africa's destiny cannot rely on an established hierarchy and authority. It will be fulfilled by networks of ethical leaders, social entrepreneurs, creative innovators, and skilled artisans, with the capacity to form agile teams and the autonomy to create a different future. A greater human destiny in a world of opportunity. This is the reality unfolding before us. Our leaders are at the forefront, driving us towards a brighter future for everyone. Our purpose is awakening the leader within to change lives and their communities. Our vision is to ignite a movement for meaningful change in South African communities, which is driven by a network of values-based leaders. Leaders change futures.
A human.
Going to the academy, it opened a lot of doors for me because I was at the forefront of being president of the school the next year. So it was just an experience that shaped me into being this individual that I never knew I could be. It enhanced my full potential and it released this beast, it released this person that I never knew was inside of me. And it taught me how to be true to myself. It taught me how to be true to my integrity. It taught me that it's not always going to be easy.
My mind was in a jar, I was in a box. I couldn't think out of that box. But then afterwards, I became a butterfly. I express my opinions. I don't let anyone walk all over me. I know how to not only identify problems, but also find solutions.
Columba has developed me, helped me in finding my abilities. Columba has taught me to persevere whenever I overcome any challenges in life.
The values that we were teaching people, the values that we learned from Columba aligned with the school values and goals. What I saw is that as much as we were telling people, okay, become a better person, do this, do this, do that, yes, people did listen to us and they did apply that. And when they applied that, their academic results started to improve. And when the academic results start to improve, the school is happy. And when people leave the school, they leave the school as better people. They leave the school as people with values. And so I saw that our action as the youth very much impacted the lives of our students, the lives of students in our school. And so I saw that as students through Columba, we were helping the school develop and become a much better school with values and academic excellence.
Good morning. My name is Mngondo Mehlomakulu. I'm from Vulamasango Secondary School, currently doing grade 11, and I'm a Columba graduate. When we observe and see what's going on in our community, we kind of want to bring change to our community and just make it a better place, because there's actually nobody who's doing something that you're doing in our community. We go to our communities, each and every individual brings the problem that he or she sees in her community. So we write down the problems that we have, and then we try to list out the most common one. And then we brainstorm the ideas and figure out a solution, and then we do the project. The day started off at school, meeting with my team and reminding each other the tasks that we had to do. We were very lucky because there were also correctional service workers there who went to donate some food and also their hands. So we did the same. We worked with the kids. Later on that day, we went to an old age home, tried to help them, sang for them, and did everything just to make them feel that they're still human beings.
So we planned to go there and just give out our time.
They were very happy because they also said to us that things that like this happened once to them. They don't really happen more often. So it was a very, very special moment for them and for us. Working with the correctional services was a very helpful thing because they brought things that we didn't bring there, and we also brought what they did not bring. So we used our tools that we brought together to make that place a better place. My team is a very, very hardworking team. We love each other, we support each other at all times, give each other advices. But I think what we lack is only communication. Otherwise, besides that, we're good. We incorporated focus as we focused on the project only that day. We also incorporated creativity as we created games to make the children have fun. In my community, I think the most challenge that we face is the environment. We do not take care of the environment. It's a very dirty community, and there's no motivation. So most of the people that live there end up losing the focus on what they want to do, doing wrong things. What inspires us to bring change into our community is Mandela. He's one of our inspirations, and as he said, there's change in everything. We believe that there's change in everything, even though other people are not going to work with us, but the little people that we have mean the most to us.
So what just pushed us was the need to help, the need to give our time, the need to be there for people. I always heard people on TV say, I was from this background, and then today I was the one who was sharing that story to say, I'm from this, but look at where I am now. Those were small things that the kids there in the orphanage saw that, okay, wow, if he's 23 and he can do it, if these kids are from poor backgrounds, but they're wearing uniform and they look nice, that means I can also do it as well. we came there and we looked nice in order for kids to feel like, okay, wow, we have people, and then we have people, even though they might be of the same situation as us, but they're making something of their lives. Above everything, it's joy, actually. Above everything, to see that we didn't have much, but we went there and were able to impact joy. It made us feel very happy as the teacher and the learners as well, which are Columba leaders. Above everything, it made us feel happy and fulfilled as well that we were able to achieve something. Mandela Day to us meant a day of service, meant a day of going out and not expecting anything in return. That's very important for people to realize that whenever you help, don't remind the person that you helped them, and also don't expect anything from them. Just help out of the goodness of your heart. So Mandela, above everything, we went with the Columba value, which was service, to say we're just going to serve people. Whether it's time consuming, because we took time out of academics, whether it's time consuming or whether it's draining, but as long as someone else says, wow, some learner from Fulamasango came, or some teacher from Fulamasango came, and my life was never the same again.
The response that we get from our community is positive, because mostly of the people, when they see us do the projects, that's when they start acting and also do something. I'd like to thank firstly Columba for giving us this opportunity. Secondly, my school, the principal, and thank the community for supporting us to complete these projects in their areas.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Legacy Stories series. Today's topic is a vision that inspires, and my name is Pumlano Juana, and I will be your host today. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, as well as engage with us in the chat box below. The relationship between a school's vision and goals, as well as its performance, is well studied globally, and evidence has shown that schools with clear visions and well-defined goals tend to do better, especially in the South African context. Today, we have the honor of being joined by KwaMaxaki High School, who understands the power of a vision and goals. Our first panelist is...
Good morning, Ms. Pumla, and good morning to the viewers as well. I am Sibusiso Damana from the prestigious institution of KwaMaxaki High School that is found in Gqeberha, also known as Port Elizabeth, and we come all the way from the beautiful province of the Eastern Cape.
Good morning, everyone. This is Vuyani Ngelwane, the principal of KwaMaxaki High School in the Eastern Cape, Gqeberha.
I'm Vundo Vena, chairman of the SGP board, KwaMaxaki High School, Gqeberha, and morning to everyone.
Welcome. Mr. Ngelwane, we always hear about how overwhelmed and busy principals are, but you were able to take 5 days away from school to join the Columba Leadership Academy. Please, tell us about your experience and your key takeaways from that.
5 days away from school is a lot, but I have no regrets for the 5 days I took away from school with the wonderful learners of KwaMaxaki High School. I remember vividly that on that day, we took about 12 learners, 6 boys and 6 girls, to a camp somewhere in Queenstown in the Eastern Cape. It was a very windy and cold period of the year, somewhere in August, but I have no regrets, as I was said earlier on. When we left our school, I can say I did not have much knowledge of the group of learners that accompanied me to the camp. But on our arrival, it was amazing to understand and to know each and every one of them at personal level, and the wonderful abilities that our children have. We left our school with learners, but we came back with leaders. Not just leaders, but leaders who can have a positive influence in changing all our learners at our school completely. It was an amazing experience.
It sounds like it. It sounds like you had a better understanding of the students afterwards, and for the first time you actually realized how change could come from the learner. So I heard about Vision 2029. Please tell us about that and how it came about.
The Vision 2029 came about as a result of this wonderful camp we had that was led by Columba. On our return from the camp, we went back to our school and we had sessions with all the stakeholders of the school, meaning educators, learners, including parents. So during the interactions that we had, as educators first, we felt we need to have a self-reflection because the kind of work that we have to undertake, the journey is totally different, and therefore it requires that we get prepared. And one of the first things that we did as educators was to say, since Columba first has got values, they've got about 6 values, which I won't delve into right now. We said we also need to have our very own values. And one of the first of the values that we adopted as a school was accountability. We needed to be accountable to all the stakeholders of our school, including Columba. We further said professionalism should be key, which talks to the work ethics of all the educators of the school. After having done that, I won't mention all the values that we agreed on, it's 8 in total. But after having agreed on all the values, and we said then we are ready, let's go and face the world. And the world being our learners as well as our teachers, to say let's get together. In our interactions with all the stakeholders, we then set and came up with 6 focus areas, which were then termed Vision 2029. The first thing that we've adopted as this group of people, as this community of KwaMaxaki, is to ensure that by 2029, this is non-negotiable, that we want to attain 100% pass percentage, not only for grade 12, as most people focus on, but in all the grades, and we want to talk quality results. And moreover, we've also agreed as these stakeholders combined, that we want to have a school that is technologically advanced. So we want to ensure that we develop technology in as part of the learning and teaching at our school. And not only that, we want to improve infrastructure at our school. And also at our school, we want to ensure that we are a values-based school. So values should be owned by all the stakeholders of our institution. So this, in a nutshell, is what Vision 2029 entails. It means that we are moving from the KwaMaXake of the past to the KwaMaXake of 2029, the KwaMaXake where all the stakeholders will be proud of, and our school will be, and it is already, a talk of the town. Among other things, on our return, the group that was dealing with the first priority, which is 100% across. Remember that it is grade 10 learners that we took to the camp. On their return, not influenced by teachers, but on their return, the learners themselves had their own meetings, and they came with a resolution to say, we are introducing study sessions of our own. Educators had to monitor. That is the only thing that they had to do. And among these learners, there would be peer educators, and they will be assisting each other. When grade 10 started this program last year on our return, grade 11 said, we won't be left behind. So it then became a school thing. Having these extra classes. We used to battle previously with forcing these kids to go for studies, but now we were forced by kids to monitor them having their own. What a wonderful experience.
Yes. Indeed, it sounds to me like values actually paved the way to clearly defined goals so that you know exactly what to work towards. So, Sibusiso, tell me, as a learner at KwaMaXake High School, what does Vision 2029 mean to you?
Thank you so much for that question, Ms. Pumla. I want us to analyze this question from two different perspectives. First, as a learner at KwaMaXake High School, and secondly, as the chairperson of the LRC. Now, Vision 2029 is very important to me because not only it guides me, but also it leads my constituency in the right direction of change. Vision 2029 is a game changer because it also enables us to recreate an emotionally intelligent environment for our leaders in our school. Remember, we said that Columba came in to shaken and awaken the leader in every child in my school. So Vision 2029 is a game changer that came abroad to create change, focusing on those 6 goals. So Vision 2029 is indeed a game changer because it firstly enables us to recreate an emotionally intelligent environment, a healthy school, and also a school whereby our students feel welcomed and they acknowledge that they are leaders and they can create the change. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, so I see that you're communicating that the learners are essentially the school.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you think that learners can actually contribute to the changing of the school culture?
Oh, that's a lovely question. Firstly, I believe that we need to redefine what is meant by a leader. And I believe that a leader is a person who is able to motivate through inspiration of actions, not by being an autocracy or by being a dictatorship. And therefore, I feel like young people can contribute in the culture of the school by first familiarizing themselves with the school policies and rules so that they know the kind of behavior that is expected from them. If they set an example of the change that they want to see, and therefore it will be easy for them to spread that kind of behavior to their learners. In conclusion, I mean that young people can contribute to the culture of the school by first familiarizing themselves with the school policies and also having a heart to serve their people by being kind and ensuring that every learner in our school feels welcomed for who they are in promotion of diversity.
Okay, so I would imagine that you had done this through the implementation of projects in your school.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me a little bit more about the projects that you've had.
We had a little bit of projects that we did in promotion of our values and in promotion of the goals that we have for 2029. I'll start firstly by the career day. We had our career day, and our career day was basically based on giving a platform to our learners to express themselves, who they want to be in the future, their aspirations and their dreams. And not only was it based on them giving a platform to express themselves, but it was also for us to explain to them that that in order for them to be successful, in order for them to be who they want to be in the near future, it first starts with attaining the 100% pass rates. It starts by focusing on their academics. So our career day was based on motivating them that they should first pay attention to their academics before they can who they want to be in the near future. And secondly, we have health awareness programs. If you could take a closer look, life orientation contexts don't really cover most of the health issues, and therefore we felt the need that we should have health awareness programs. Our health awareness programs are based on focusing and teaching young people based on sexual education, and by sexual education I mean personal hygiene, STIs and all that, because we feel like they don't have the people that they look up to for them to be taught these things. And because we live in Black communities, such things are sacred things, to be specific. I'll make a typical example. When we talk about periods, you'd find out that a girl child will get only taught by periods when she starts having a period. And therefore, when we have these health awareness programs, it becomes easier for them to understand themselves, understanding the change that is happening in their body. And also, it also enables them to make more informed decisions about their life choices. And yeah, it was really nice. I like it so much because it has a very positive impact, not only in our school, but also in our communities as well. Because I feel like our learners can also be able to influence through the communities that they live in. And another project that we have was a spelling bee. A spelling bee, it was in promotion of our languages, which is in our school we have first additional language, which is English, and we also have home language, which is isiXhosa, and we had the spelling bee in both languages. So it was in promotion of those languages, and also it was in promotion of giving the learners a chance to express themselves, standing in front of 1.8 learners and spelling words. It is also building them as a character that they can be able to address a large audience by simply spelling words. So it was really nice, especially for the grade 8s, because you find out that some of them, it's the first time being exposed to 1.8 learners, and it's a lot, as much as it was overwhelming, but it allowed them to express themselves and who they are. Yeah, and also I think that another project that we did, it was Human Rights Day. On Human Rights Day, it's very touchy to me, because as a history student, we somehow feel like we can get excluded and we don't have really much projects to do at school. But when we came about with the idea of Human Rights Day, history students had a platform to address in the assembly, raising awareness about Human Rights Day, because we also took a closer look and we found out that the learners in our school do know what Human Rights Day is, but they don't know the story behind it. They don't know the acknowledgement behind what the day is. So the history learners had a chance to stand in front of the assembly, acknowledging other learners about what is Human Rights Day, why is it important, and also in promotion of our school values. So it was really nice. And another project that we did, it was table renovations. We found out that we have, in terms of infrastructure, we found out that when we write exams, we have shortage of desks, and therefore, since we don't have the sufficient funds yet, we rather be creative, which is one of our values, creativity. We rather think outside the box and actually recycle the broken desks that we have and make new ones out of them. So, which is also environmentally friendly, by the way. So with that project, we were able to recycle our desks and ensure that every learner in our school has a desk to write on their examination, and also to attain the 100% pass rate, ma'am.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds amazing. It
Yes,
sounds
it is.
to me that it's important when learners are able to not only identify, but be a part of the solution and helping solve it. Okay, Mr. Vena, as a member of the school governing body, tell me, why is it important for the SGB to support Vision 2029?
As a member of the school, to support Vision 2029, as parents first, we have a direct investment, because it's our children there, which is we have a direct investment into the institution. So our vision as the SGB was to create an environment which is both the learner, the parent, the teachers are together for the kids, and also to bring parents. Remember the working conditions and other factors which sometimes may not be conducive for parents to be part of their children's education, which we wanted to promote that culture of parent participation in the life of a learner. So we had that vision as the SGB. So in that vision, When they came back from the Columba leadership training or workshop, they came back, they addressed to us, and then we said we need to be part of it because we cannot be away from the vision which we have adopted as our own. So we needed to sort of guard it and be able to assist when necessary, where assistance is needed. And as parents, I would tell you now, she just mentioned that there was a project of desk renovations. We adopted that as SGP, but we said those who break the desk are mostly kids. So they needed to participate in rebuilding them so that they understand now. Now they've got a jealousy of their own creative asset, which is now a desk. And that project was able to have about 100 children seated in a desk, you see, which was a shortage to us. And other projects which the principal and the chairperson of the LRC has mentioned. But I would also like to say, from the SGP point of view, that we have seen change in our kids. And to me, Vision 2029 is a personal matter because currently, I am left with a grade 8 learner, which that learner will be an outcome of that vision. So I guard that vision jealously because that learner, which we say we must see, is my child coming out of a matric, having been an ideal learner from Kwamaxagi High School. You see, so Vision 29 has that impact on us directly and indirectly as parents. Thank you.
So what I'm hearing is that Kwamaxagi has created a community of learners, the principal, educators, SGB members, and parents that have come together to create this vision and see it come to life. So, Mr. Nolani, one project that stood out the most to me was Pledge Day, where you had parents and learners come together to pledge towards this vision. Tell me, why was this important for the school?
The pledging ceremony or the pledge ceremony was of paramount importance, and still it is for all, because you can have as much ideas and as much policies and whatever on paper, but they mean nothing if they cannot be communicated directly to all the stakeholders. There are various ways of communicating. We could have sent emails to parents to say, sign this and bring it back to school. But that one-on-one, face-to-face kind of communication has a very big impact. We wanted them to see us. We wanted to see their reaction as we were explaining to them what this all entails. When we were explaining word for word as to what path do we want to take with their kids. You know, the responses that we got were so amazing that we do not regret engaging directly with parents on this pledge. And remember, this pledge is a first of its kind in our school, because we used to let them sign something and then that's it. But this time around, we sat down with them and we made a commitment that we are gonna interact with you quarterly as to report progress, because this is all about the progress of their children. You know, it meant that, especially with the grade 8s, the grade 8 learners of 2025, as Mr. Venner has initially said, are exactly the class of 2029 that we see this, that we want to see this vision coming to fruition when they leave. So they were the first to be part of this. We are immensely proud of what we've done, and we shall continue to do this moving forward.
I love to hear that. It sounds like a commitment to this vision that you have. I've also heard that you embarked on an incredible initiative for Nelson Mandela Day. Please tell me a little bit more about that and the kind of stakeholders that were involved in bringing that to life.
Starting with stakeholders, you know, we used in the past to go and seek sponsorship here and there. You know, the language of sponsorship at Kwamaxagi is a thing of the past. We go for partnerships. Because when you ask for a sponsor, you get it once and then that's it. But if you partner, it's a long-term, you know, working together with whoever has agreed to work with you. So through Columba participation and interactions, we then felt it is the time that we do something on the Mandela Day. And it was easy because of the skills that we gained from Columba to have access to a couple of companies. We have companies like your Pikelela Foundation that work with us, and they are very proud of this Columba. They are aware of Columba as they are. So they said, we're going to go. It was not Kwamaklagi that was looking for people to work on the Mandela Day, but it was other companies looking for your Standard Bank that came on board to sponsor the event. Actually, what happened on the day is that we've got a huge tract of land at Kwamaklagi. In the Black Township, I think we can be rated in the top 10 in terms of the size of land that our school has. And it's a very fertile land that can be utilized to feed the nation. So we identified an area for a garden there that we were able to work on with the contribution or the funding from Standard Bank, where they provided seeds and they brought some manpower to plant. The planting has been done, and in 3 months' time, we'll be reaping the rewards from that garden of what these people have done. They did not only end with the garden, they also worked on our library, because we're always pushing our kids to produce results, but we're not giving them enough tools for them to do so. It's like sending the children, it's like sending the army to war without giving them weapons. So they tried to renovate our library on the day. So it was a wonderful occasion. It was not only for teachers and these companies. Parents were there, our learners were there. So it was all inclusive. So we are working with the community in everything we do. As we know, the Mandela is a communal or an international day that is respected all over the world. So we're doing just that on the day.
Okay, that sounds amazing. What I'm hearing here is that all hands are on decks. You have the young learners, the leaders that are being supported by the educators, as well as the principal, who is in turn being supported by people such as yourself, the school governing body. So tell me, what is the importance of the SGB supporting causes like this, and what kind of advice would you give to other SGB members that must be watching?
The kind of advice that I would give is that SGBs must understand their roles and responsibilities. There is management, there is governance. Those run together, but they run parallel. They must not mix. I think that's where the conflict begins, when one does not know where the governance line ends or begins, or management. If we run according to our boundaries, then there would be no problem in the institution. For instance, you might see me and the principal here in Ngelwane, like we are hand in glove, but we do fight. We do have different views, but we understand our lines of operation. That's number one. Number two, we have to be directly involved. You have to have that mindset of wanting to develop the school first. Because if you are an SGB, according to South African Schools Act, you must have a learner in that particular school. So your interest in that school is direct. Your child is there, it can be your nephew, it can be, but you've got a direct interest in that particular school. So developing that should be a priority. I think SGBs must now consider to take the schools to the next level. If we want to see a more brighter South Africa, where learners become what we as parents intend them to become, then education is first. And there is no other place for education except school. Then we should support our schools. We should attract more sponsorship. We should attract the community to be part of the schools. I think if you involve the community to be part of the school, you involve the stakeholders around you. You see, prominent people who run soup kitchens and so forth, they must be part of the school so that you stop even these things of vandalism, breaking into schools and so forth, because now the community begins to own the school. You see, you have now managed to crack that wall, which is a boundary between the community and the school. So if all SGBs could have that in their minds. I think we could create a more conducive environment for our learners. You see, you see what I like more when I attended most of the Columba sessions at school. I make sure when there's a Columba session at school, I avail myself. Because not only does it helps them, it also helped me to understand more about kids, and it also helps me to grow. I understand more now of my child than I would have if I was not part of that of those sessions. So I would encourage that SGP focus more on development and participating in partnership, not cross-lining. I'm a chairperson, I'm not the principal. I should understand that I'm a chairperson, not the. He should also understand that he is the principal but not the chairperson. So if we understand our rules moving forward, we can then have a well-oiled machine in terms of schools development. Thank you very much.
Okay, that sounds amazing. It sounds to me that KwaMaxagi is a lighthouse for the community. So research has actually also shown that the schools that tend to perform the best are the ones that have good leadership, high expectations for school management, as well as clear set goals, which is exactly what KwaMaxagi is. To close this wonderful session off, I'd like to ask you all one last question. What does leaving a legacy, not just in your school, but in your community as well, mean to you all? I'll start with you, Sibusiso.
Ladies first, I guess. Thank you for the question. Leaving a legacy for not only my school, but for my community as well, means to me, first, as I've been able to identify that the problems in my school don't only start in my school environment, but they start with the communities that we live in. So I feel like leaving a legacy behind, it means that first creating a platform or rather an environment whereby there's relationship or rather connection between the community and the school. Because first, you don't only start by being a learner, you start by being a community member, and the person that you are in your community will basically reflect the type of learner that you will become at school. So leaving a legacy behind, it means to me creating a relationship between our communities and our school. An emotionally intelligent, I will keep on saying this, an emotionally intelligent environment can have a positive impact, because not only will it benefit the school, but it will benefit the community, which means that our school can become a better place. And that is the type of legacy that I want to leave behind when I am no longer in KwaMaxagi High School. I want to, when I pass in KwaMaxagi High School, and say that I've created change, though it may be a long process, but I will know that I left a legacy whereby the learners understand what is meant of the term school culture, what is meant of leadership, and also what is meant by diversity, and also accommodating each other to achieve the goals and the missions that we have for our school. So to close the question of living the kind of legacy that I want to leave for my school is a relationship between my community and my school, and an emotionally intelligent place, and them honestly understanding that self-discipline is the center of all material success.
Okay. Mr. Ngelane.
The legacy. What I want to leave behind when I'm not there anymore. There's a lot I can say. Let me take you back a little bit to something called the domino theory. You know, with dominoes, you hit one and the rest will sort themselves out. I learned one thing through the Columba programs, something about a personal mission. That as educators, we all, starting with myself as the headmaster at KwaMaxagi, that I need to have a personal mission. And if you combine our, to say our personal missions all together, you come up with a school mission. I discovered when I was drafting or developing my personal mission that I happen to be an enabler. Now, if I become an enabler, that means I need to have an impact to the person next to me to be one also. So with the big number of learners that we are leading, or I am leading, and the teachers as well, if one influences the person next to him or her, then we all become enablers. And then when we go out to that community, we then have a very positive impact. That is part of that legacy. Lastly, as KwaMaxagi High School, I've said initially, we've got that Vision 2029. That Vision 2029 doesn't necessarily translate into saying, after 2029, nothing must happen. No. That is where we want to be, but once we are there, we want to be settled. So if we are settled with all the points that I've raised earlier on, including a development of improved infrastructure, then that is the kind of a school that I would want to see, even if I'm on retirement. A school with proper infrastructure. And we are busy with that infrastructure as we speak. Currently, we are busy preparing for an event that you have never heard in South Africa, especially in black townships, called 1 to 100 mile race. A race that will be run over 2 days. It's a mini comrade, if I may put it like that. It's happening on the 11th and 12th of October. So if it's successful this year, it's gonna be there for the next 100 years. So that is the kind of a legacy that I want to leave. In summary, it's an effective school. Thank you very much.
Legacy that I would want to leave behind is what we call institutional culture. You know, KwaMaxake High School situates at an area which was developed between 1985 and 87 for middle-class black people. It's a 2-story building school, but it's surrounded now by informal settlement and poor areas. What I want to leave behind as my legacy is that for those second-class citizens of KwaMaxake to identify that school as the school of choice for their children, so that they don't have to leave that school and go somewhere else, so-called former Model C school. If we can achieve that, and then I would say that we have managed to leave a legacy behind. Second is that the children who are coming from so-called informal settlements and areas where we would find your RTP development area, which are now the majority of our learners, can identify themselves with the structural arrangement which is there in KwaMaxake, not with where they are coming from. Then I would say that we have left a legacy behind. Because what we want to achieve a culture that transcends beyond the background of where we come from as individuals. But we want to transcend a culture that says, I can be anything that I want in life. That is what we want to achieve as the school, as the institution of KwaMaxake. If we can achieve that, and that being achieved and sustained for the next 50 to 100 years, we would then say that we have achieved and managed to create a school of choice for that area and for the community of Port Elizabeth. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time and your willingness to share yourselves with us today. I'm sure that a lot of our viewers will be inspired by the stories that you've come to tell. There you have it, KwaMaxake High School, leading purposeful, meaningful, lasting change, a legacy in the making. If you are as excited and inspired as I am, don't go anywhere as we prepare for the next segment. Welcome back to segment 2 of episode 2 of the Legacy Stories series. I'm joined by 2 more incredible panelists. Please introduce yourselves.
Hello everyone, my name is Sibusiso Masanamistele and I'm a founder of Cake Bonanza and I'm an alumni of Columba Leadership and I'm a former learner of Tsegayetu Secondary School.
Hi everyone, my name is Mzekona Jablan Pongose, a Columba alumni from Tsegayetu Secondary School, situated in Pietermaritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal.
Mr. Mpungose, Columba leadership has been out of your school for 2 years now. Tell me, is the values-based leadership movement still alive at your school?
Yes, it is. The reason is that the moment we were selected to join Columba, yes, we were educators, we were a functional school, but our school was not of knowledge to say we need to be a school that is value-driven. And we went there as educators. We saw that as we are able to know how to teach the content, but sometimes when we are teaching, we leave behind some learners because as they are in the classroom, they have so many things they are going through as they are coming from different communities. And in your classroom, you have a multifaceted kind of realities that are existing in that classroom. You can teach a content and they can get 100%, but you have failed in building a very important aspect of their development, which is what Columba introduced to us. Columba said to us as educators of Nsega that when you teach, make sure that you build human connection. And that we ran with it. Human connection goes beyond the knowledge of the content. It goes beyond how fluent and effective you are in your subject as a specialist in that particular subject. But if there is no connection between you and the learners that you are teaching, there will be no effective, holistical teaching and learning taking place in your classroom. And because of that, because of those values and because of that understanding, hence our school has been able to carry on these values, even when Columba has said, now you have a backbone, stand upright straight. We are not C-shaped organisms, we are S-shaped, which means that our bipedalism in terms of how we strengthen and reinforce the values that we were given, it is well intact. Because in every activity that we do, the application of values is of paramount importance. That is why even today, we still do those activities. We are able to be a Columba school that was adopted by Columba even after the actual mentors from Columba are not that much in the school, but they haven't forgotten about us. They are still checking some of the things with the school, and because of that, is because they have planted a seed. And that seed now is starting to flourish in terms of how do we manifest the production from what they've invested. Hence, we're still having it running.
Yes, I do see that that seed is indeed sprouting. So tell me, what kind of projects have you been undertaking over the past 2 years with the learners at the school?
Yeah, there's a number of programs that we are doing in the school, number of awareness campaigns. One of them is there's a talks where we encourage young people to have a circle outside. We have plenty of space in our school. So they are in groups, and we are doing that program with partnering with Scout South Africa, because we also, as Columba teachers, joined Scout South Africa movement, where we are reinforcing young people to be aware of the first thing that they are citizens, South African citizens. And two, they have a duty to God. Whatever that they are doing, they have to make sure that, irrespective of their religion, but there is God. And that duty to God, it talks to the values, it blends with the Columba values to say you need to be aware of yourself. Even the religion comes in there. So that is an opportunity where, as we are partnering with Scout South Africa, but at the same time, we are trying to blend what Scout South Africa is bringing in with what, as Columba teachers, we are having as the values that are governing us and governing our Columba learners, and how they influence the Scout South Africa, the Scouters in our school. And the blending of the two will make a school that is having a number of learners. We have about 1,300 learners in our school. But how do we change them? We change them from how they think, how they view, how they look at things, and how they react to situations. But blending duty to God with the value, the Columba values, that synergy, that symbiosis, it creates a platform for every teacher that is coming into the classroom to have a conducive class where learners are learning and they also have a voice even in their learning. Because there in that program, they are encouraged to say whatever that they see as their vision, what is that they want to achieve, and both of them sitting together, what is that they want to do together. That's where it comes also, one of the programs that I didn't mention, that jointly they are doing the project that is called Beautification of the School. So the beautification of the school is the juncture between the Scout South Africa now with the Columba leadership at Insegayetu, where the beautification of the school is a priority, but by both groups that are existing in the school.
Okay, it seems that through collaboration, youth engagement is still very much alive and powerful at Insegayetu. I want to zoom into the mood competition, the awareness campaigns, as well as Thursday talks, because one of the pillars of Columba leadership is the pillar of voice. As an educator, why do you think it's important for young people to have a voice in the school space?
As an educator, what we have also discussed as a school is that when we look at our learners, we look at them as, when you look at an organism is made up of tiny things called cells. But to say this is Insegayetu secondary school, it's because there is one very important pillar, which is a learner that is there in the school premises. And we say if that cell, each of those cells are living cells, they can get into a point where they fully develop. In other words, we look at our learners as stem cells, that through our molding, through our mentoring, they can change and become whatever they are potentially able to become. So the learner's voice, an active voice of learners, means an institution is living. It means an institution is functional. It means that an institution is undergoing a process of the zone of proximal development, where learners are able to move from what they know to what maybe sometimes they are skeptical of, or things that they are not, they are afraid to tackle. And you find that most of them, when they are in the school, they are able even to come with some of the projects to say, now we are exhausted, we don't want to use or to carry on doing this particular, but how can we appetize it? And they come with new innovations that are helping even our functionality to be there and to exist. So we look at them as living cells that can be molded to become something better. But that zone of proximal development, it needs a capable teacher who's going to understand them and who's going to listen to their story and carry them through. I said before, to make that possible, there has to be an establishment of a human connection bridge. And through those talks, that is where we reinforce that connection. That even when you are in the class, a learner is not looking at you as a teacher, but is looking at you as a friend who is a bit distant but friend. And that is what we are doing. That is why the children's voice is very important, and we are not ignoring it. Before we went to Columba, we were ignoring those things, thinking that we are teachers, we know what we are doing. Yet the people we are working with, these cells, some of them, they die in front of us because the nurturing is not there. Nurturing is very important, and that is what we grasped when we were in the academy. And we've been nurturing that to ourselves, and we are continuing to do that.
Mm-hmm. What I keep on hearing from you is human connection. It sounds like through support of educators who are inspirational and also supportive like you, learners are able to really be able to reach their full potential. So, Sibusiso, I know that you're now an entrepreneur. Take us back to Sibusiso in grade 10, before Columba leadership. What was that young man like?
Only thing that I can say is that I was a misbehaving kid. Always getting, trying to get their attention, to teachers, always causing trouble, not paying attention in class. And one of the things is that not only in school, but even at home, I was misbehaving, causing troubles, always fighting with my mom. And at that time, my mom passed away. I don't have a mom. So my auntie took me under, and she took care of me. But at that time, with those arguments and all those things, keep on fighting all those problems. She even took me to having to see the social worker. She tried everything. So up until I actually up until I was introduced in Columba.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like there are a lot of students, such as yourself, that actually go through hardships, right? And when Columba was introduced in your life, what is it that changed in you that made you decide that it's time to make a change and be a better person in your life?
When I went to Columba, honestly, I didn't go there to actually, I didn't really care that maybe I want to change my life or what. I had this thing, something that is new in school, so let me just go and see what is it that they are doing. I was actually curious, Yeah. So, and the funny part, the moment when I started actually telling everyone that I'm joining Columba, even some of the teachers, they laughed because they didn't really believe I myself, I was going to actually be part of Columba, So Columba was the first step for me to change my life. And even before Columba, the first thought that I had in my head, I wanted to change because there was the time when I found out that my mom had cancer. And I saw that the door or the window is closing and I don't have enough time. And I need to prove myself and I need to show her, So that's when I started having that thought and then the desire of wanting to change. And now Columba gave me that first step. I wanted to change. And then they took me to the academy where I was able to learn and see others going through more than what I was going through in life. And Columba made me aware of my own thoughts, made me aware of how I think, and it made me aware to look at my mistakes on where to fix and what is it that I need to do. So Columba it has been a blessing to me in my life because it is that first step that took me to where I am right now, to actually having a business, not only having a business, but being able that I was able to study and I paid for myself in school, my institution fees, and because I did my business management and financial management, and to actually even running a business.
I can say for sure that your mother is proud of the young man that you've become. Mr. Mpongose, tell us, how was Sibusiso in the school?
Sibusiso was just a learner who's full of energy, but the energy that is directed somewhere. And you'll find that in the class is seeking attention, he will do things, will laugh, he's not in a way. But he was not rude. I think learners like that, for me, I tend to love them, even if they have a case, because a person is not rude, you tend to have that soft spot. Because it's just all over the place. It's just needing the direction. So he was just like that. And academically was not an outstanding learner. He was just an average learner who is also full of that energy that had to be redirected. And as he is saying that some were laughing to say, Sbusiso is joining, oh, you are there now, and all of that. And because he had to have that internal, intrinsic kind of motivation, we didn't know about that up until I had a time to be with him when we were there now within Columba at school, where now because of values you can't just be harsh, and so you have to have now a new lens on how you zoom in and look at a particular learner as an individual. You are not bringing this umbrella approach to say learners are like this, but who is Sbusiso in here now? Because we had to protect Sbusiso because he's now part of us. Even if there are things that he's still doing, but we would have to understand that Sbusiso is in the process of metamorphosis. It's changing gradually. Because metamorphosis, when you look at the butterfly, you can't tell that which colors the wings of the butterfly will be. But until that butterfly is out of that cocoon, that's when you can say, oh, it was a butterfly. Oh, this one is a bee, and this one is this and that. So that is the understanding we had that is going through like other learners who were part of the program, that they are in the process of metamorphosis.
Okay. It sounds like Sbusiso is a testament that there's potential in every young person, and that all that we have to do, especially educators such as yourself, is to just shake them up and release that potential. So Sbusiso, I know that you had an intentional gap year. You also mentioned that you completed your studies, graduated, registered, and started a business, Cake Bonanza. Tell us, how did that come about?
To starting a business, I was inspired by my friend. 2020, I was staying in the flat. And for me, I was a part-time student. The only time when I get a chance to go to school and attend was around 5 p.m. To 7, meaning I have the whole day just doing nothing. Yeah. And in the house, the friends that I have, because we're staying in one house, everybody's studying. They're doing something. Mm-hmm. They're studying trading. They're discussing tenders, business plan. And for me, I felt so left out. I'm like, I need to do something about it. Every time I'm always sleeping and I see these guys, they're just sitting on the laptops, they're talking. They even tried talking to me, and they even tried teaching me on, okay, we want to teach you on how to trade and all those things. And then it didn't really work for me. I was not really that good in studying the markets and all those things, So I came to that point where I'm like, okay, what is it that I can do? What is it that I can sell? Because I do remember that in school, I used to sell sweets. I was able to sell sweets. Even in the flats, I was able to sell sweets. So the idea of starting the cake business was when I was like, in the morning, I was looking at the window. I'm seeing a lot of people walking in the streets. I'm like, so most of the people want something to eat in the morning, something to drink coffee with, not something that is too expensive. And most of the department, they don't want to spend it, they want to save, So that's where the idea came about. Like, I want to sell cakes. And then that's where the journey started. And now it starts by me doing the premix products. There's the one from Golden Cloud. I was using that product. I started using that. And then I started selling in the street, which it was difficult. It's not easy actually selling to people, because a lot of people will show you their characters, their personalities. And that's where I started learning a lot of things. And from that, as I continued and the consistency that I had, I started learning more. And then I started having the desire to know more, from moving from a premix product to actually doing the basics of now I am baking from scratch, where I started baking the mini loaves, bananas. I started selling scones, snowballs, those basics. And to growing to actually knowing how to bake birthday cakes and dessert cakes, And all of that, I got it from, most of the time I can say, people that I met in the streets. And it actually helped me to be in the street, selling to people, because a lot of people that they used to see me, they saw a kid who's presentable, who's clean. And then they were all curious, we want to help this kid. I remember last time one of the lady, it's Mrs. Mbele. It's the perfect makoti, the one that who bakes and who cooks. I was selling at the Department of Economic and Development. I was standing there, I'm selling, and then she came to me, she works there. She came to me, she's like, do you know how to bake birthday cakes? I'm like, no. She's like, I would really love to actually teach you to bake. Imagine this lady, she stays far, it's in Harwick, it's in Pietermaritzburg, but it's far to where I stay. So she took her own money, petrol. Only thing that I had to do was to buy the ingredients. She came to my house where I was staying. She taught me. She even came with their own daughter and son. And I was even taught by his own daughter, this is what you need to do. So I started knowing how to decorate cakes. So from getting that skill, and I'm so grateful to even her that she gave me the skill, she saw a potential in me. And even from moving to doing, she taught me like how to design, and she taught me to make dessert. So now in my business, I offer a lot of things because of that lady. And one of the ladies too, hey, I'm helped by a lot of people actually. There's another thing that actually my growth is by people contributed in me. They saw the potential. One of the lady, Delights, one of the ladies, we go to church. She bakes really nice cakes, dessert cakes, carrot cake, biscoff cake, all of that. I took a chance. I'm like, can you please teach me how to bake? And then she actually said, it's fine, come to my house. Most of all these skills, you pay for them. You go to private institutions to go get all these skills. She actually gave me the skill. I went to her house. It was for free. She gave me the skill. So that's how I've been moving. So, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you didn't just persevere, but you were also self-aware, which is why you could identify your capabilities. It seems to me that you were also able to not only identify opportunities, but be able to seize the moment. So, to the young entrepreneur that is watching you today, or maybe even the aspiring entrepreneur, what advice would you give them about the importance of self-awareness?
What I can say is that it's important to develop yourself, you know. Self-development is very important. I believe in self-development. Always having the desire to develop yourself, and you need to be aware of your surrounding, the people, and always look for opportunities, you know, and use what you have right now. There is no need for you to wait for, maybe for an example, like 1,000 rand to start. Even 100 rand, it's big. Even 200 rand is big, as long as you start. And if you have the consistency to, you know, to stand for, if you can survive, one of the things that I say when you're selling, and one of the things that I got to learn as selling in the streets, if you can survive a week or two, even a month, meaning you have the chance to actually survive till the following year. Because in that week or even in that month, a lot of people don't care about you. You will actually make a loss. People will pass by. Some people will have some negative impacts in what you're doing. They will discourage you. If you can survive that, you can actually survive. Like even you can actually go to a whole year, to 2 years in the business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm actually learning from you that you need to start with where you are and what you have.
Yes.
That's inspiring. So, Mr. Mpungose, when you look at Sibusiso today and how far he's come, how does he inspire you?
Sibusiso is an inspiration to me as an individual and as an educator. He's a former teacher. Sibusiso is telling me that a young person is capable of becoming something better. And Sibusiso is telling me that when we call ourselves mentors, what do we mean by that? Because in some cases we confuse mentoring with slavery, where you task people to do things because you are not willing, you don't want to do them. Yet mentoring is about showing the way. And Sibusiso, as I am his mentor, in a way, when we are conversing with him, he's saying that some of the things, you were saying this and that, even when we were coming here, he was telling me things that I've forgotten to say. You said this to me, and then say, me. And like, if I was not firm and principled and valued, value-driven in my responses, I would have given him a remedy that is now killing him. But I had to be firm and say, the truth is, in the situation that you are facing, this is what you need to do. As a young person, as a teenager, as a handsome boy, he will face quite a number of challenges. But I'm not sure why he had that, because a number of learners would be scared to come to me. But I think those ones are those that are very naughty and rude in some cases. But Sibusiso will come to me and confide things. But when he's saying things, I will be just frank to say, this is what you need to do, without fear or favor, because I knew that for the fact that he's coming to me, maybe it's because he have seen that I'm a safe space, so he can say things. So now, today, I'm very proud to see him flourishing. And I remember when he was telling me about this thing of the cake baking, and then I asked him, you were not doing consumer studies at school. How do you know this thing? And then I was like, no, sir, I know. And then he had to give me some of the samples, and he had to talk about it and post it, and then I would comment there, and then I was like, it's not him, maybe, but whenever we meet, because our church is in the same street as his flat, and then he will come and greet me and then update me of whatever that is happening. And I'll be so surprised when he's telling me quite a number of things to say. Now I'm there, I'm selling them there, I was invited there, I'm having orders, and say, I can't manage now because I have so many orders. I was like, no, you are going far with this thing. And Sibusiso is that example of a development of something from one cell to a number of cells, and mitotically becoming a human being that is fully developed, that can respond, that can act, that can move and do all of those things. So I see him as an epitome of what we call a changing agent. A changing agent. That's a process. It's not an event. And I see his business becoming gradually advancing. And that for me is an inspiration to say, there is no child that can be thrown away until that child himself or herself is just running away from the safe space. Yeah.
So how would you advise other educators who most certainly have the old Sibusisos in their classroom to deal with that?
Maybe I'll tackle this question like this, to say, until educators understand that challenges they are facing today are not the same as challenges that they were facing when we were learners. And the challenges that we were facing during Sibusiso's time at school are a bit different from the challenges that we are facing now at school. I need educators to understand that to be good mentors and to be sounding individuals, adults, who are value-driven, they have to understand what kind of challenges they are facing in their schools. Now we are facing the 21st century challenges. The research is saying that learners are bored within the classroom if we are teachers who are coming into the classroom with the chalk and the textbook. They don't need that now. You feed them that, they are distant. They need to see some integration, ICT integration. They are using these gadgets at home. Allow them to use them in the classroom. But if your school has a very sounding policy in ensuring that if you apply ICT integration in your school for blended learning, you have very sounding policies to guide that, to nourish that policy, so that they don't end up using their laptops and their cell phones for other things while you are in the classroom. So I'm answering the question to say they have to understand whether the challenges they are facing are technical challenges and or adaptable challenges. Adaptive challenges is when you say, are the learners able to adapt in the classroom setting that is conducive for them to learn? How do you do that? You need to come with new strategies so that when they are facing those challenges that we've mentioned, social ills, but when they come to your class, they know they are going to be the learning is going to be exciting. That is the first thing they need to do. And also to say, learners need time. They need your time as an educator. Learners need an ear. Learners need consistency. You don't stand there when he's saying something to you. Every word that is coming from that learner, analyze it. Some of them, they will be naughty and doing all of that, like Sbusiso was. And you focus on the naughtiness, and you forget that behind that naughtiness, maybe there is a particular challenge. So, but to be able to get into that sphere, you need to have an ability, even to you yourself as an educator, adapt, go down into their level, interact, try and get used to the language that they are using when they are communicating as peers. Go down to that level, understand them, give them time, be consistent, and walk the talk. You do whatever that you are doing and they see you in action. If you say, I want to see you before the school open, in the morning, I want to see you after break, I want to see you before you go home. You are consistent in that because you can see that maybe this one as a teenager is starting to use drugs now. That monitoring, which means that during the day, the learner is at school is not smoking because you said, this is our appointment. In the morning when you come, after break, and before you go home, you come to me. I want to see if you are not intoxicated. Consistency, you listen to them. Their voices are very important.
Yes. Okay, powerful. Spusiso, I understand that your purpose is to inspire others. On that note, what are your closing remarks?
What I can say to others, be presentable, be presentable. As I said before, do self-development. Read books. I never thought I was going to be the person who says read books. It's amazing how I have some of the books now, Another thing that I go for, surround yourself around productive people. They don't need to give you something, but being around them, like I said even before, I was surrounded by people, they were studying, and I felt so left out. So when you surround yourself around productive people, eventually you will start doing something. And right now, we are in an age or a space where you see our economy, there is so much high unemployment. And most of the people graduate, they are sitting at home. They're not doing anything. And only thing that I can say, go out there, go to the streets. You don't need to bake like me. But if you can sell a product, for an example, there are those, there's this box, like the Simba Chips box, where you sell them for 10 Rand. Go out there, be presentable. Listen to people what they're saying. They will say something that is actually itching, and then you'll be so curious. And they will see someone who is productive and they will want to help you. Because most of everything that I have is true because of the streets. The skills And one of the most amazing things, even able to own an asset, because last year I bought my first asset, which is I could have bought an iPhone. That's another thing with passion. Once you start loving something, you want to grow. You ask yourself, what is it that I can do that can make this be easy? Because baking is not nice. Standing the whole night is not nice. And waking up in the morning around 5, you need to go to the streets and sell too. It's not easy. So I bought my first asset, which is an industrial oven, which is worth about 20,000. And all that money, I got it from selling in the streets. No one at home gave it to me. Only thing that I got to receive at home was the opportunity to just go to school. I was able to pay for myself and all those things. So always avail yourself. Look for opportunities. And another nice thing is that as I was selling in the street, I was even able to get an opportunity to get a learnership. And now what is that learnership about? It's for me to actually learn more skills of baking. If I was at home, I wasn't going to get this opportunity. I had to go to Durban, do the interview, gave them my sample of the product, and I'm so grateful by the Department of Economic and Development. That's the space where I was able to get the opportunities. The departments do help if you go out there. Labor, every department, they do help. As long as you are just there showing yourself, they will help you. From getting the learnership to actually learning how to bake, I was even able to be assisted by being funded by the department. The department funded me with the amount of like 60K, where they're going to buy an asset for me, which is a mobile kitchen and the single door fridge. So now look at everything. Look at how I've been moving. It's by me availing myself out there, being presentable, just smiling. And one of the things, you will be discouraged. I won't lie to you. I cry. I won't lie to you, I cry. I come back sometimes, I get so depressed, I just cry. Because I feel like I'm tired. It's emotional. It is that's the pain. If you don't do anything, the pain is that you're not going to get anything, you're not going to go anywhere in life. If you're doing something, the pain is you will feel the pain that it's hard. It's difficult. Facing the people, feeling like you're not doing enough, you know. So you need to face the challenge. You need to put yourself out there. Be presentable, be clean. And just know that everybody's watching. Even me being here right now in this podcast, it's an opportunity for me. And everybody's watching. Columba has been watching. I didn't know that Columba is watching. And now I'm here being interviewed by you, meaning what I was doing is still right. So I need to continue. And another thing, don't look for shortcuts. One of the people the person that told me was Budlaki, like Mr. Lakimkunu. We do talk. Sometimes I will always give him ideas. Hey, I want to do this. And then you say, don't look for shortcuts. Because he sees that I want to take a shortcut. A shortcut will not get you anywhere. But if you go in with the direction, the right way, it's going to be difficult, but there's going to be the good result, you know. And always be an asset to people who are bigger. Right now I'm surrounded by the greatest people. Not besides my friend, but in the baking industry. Like one of the people, one of the best bakers in Pietermaritzburg, Coco the Baker. That guy, I was looking at him on Instagram. I was like, hey, this guy, I thought he was from here in Johannesburg. Out of nowhere, I see him where the baking supply is. To now, me doing the learnership with him. I'm in the car with him, we get to talk. He's not giving me anything, but we're just talking, he's sharing. And be an asset to him, to that person. I ask for advice to him. He gives me for free. And what matters the most, all the opportunities that are available, it's what you do about it. If you take action, you will get the result. I will give you the information. I tell people, I give them information, go do this. Okay, you're a part-time student, do this. Like recently, last week, one of my friends, I have a friend actually from London. He called me, he was like, hey, my brother, can you please motivate one of my friends here? You know, I was able to motivate another kid. And I told him, you just need to start, my brother. sell something, sell yourself, be presentable and stay clean. So yeah.
That is inspiring. A story of a young man who comes from a school in a township that had a vision and understood that he needed a network of educators such as yourselves, mentors, Columba leadership, the department and other stakeholders in order to make this vision come to life. Congratulations on how far you have come. I think there is a lot to be taken away from this conversation from people both young and old. To other young men and women that are listening and have a vision as well and can be inspired by Sibusiso, please feel free to share your story with us in the comments below and anything else that you thought. Sibusiso, Mr. Mpongose, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And a big thank you to our funders, our schools, the DBE, as well as our viewers at home. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this to as many people as possible. See you next time.